Welcome to the Voluntary Benefit Shop's webinar series, bi-weekly webinar series. We appreciate all of you taking some time out of your day to join us for this. We are happy to have our guests from Flimp join us here today. We have Robert, Kayla, and Joanna from Flimp to join us today, and they'll be doing the majority of the talking and presenting for today's webinar. And I think we'll go ahead and get started. So again, thanks everybody for joining today's Voluntary Benefit Shop bi-weekly webinar series. We do this every 2 weeks with a different topic and invite all of our broker partners from around the country to join and learn, hopefully learn some new things that can help them and their clients. Today we have the team from Flimp on, and they do a great job from Flimp Communications. They do a great job with tools that help with employee engagement, etc. We have Robert, Kayla, and Joanna on from Flimp. They're good friends of the Voluntary Benefit Shop and have done some great work for us and for some of our broker partners. We hope that you get some good ideas out of this. With that, Kayla, if you could just go to the next screen, just a couple things I want to touch on before we get started. Again, as I said, my name is Mike Walker. I'm the president of the Voluntary Benefit Shop. We're really here to help you with all things voluntary benefits. So you're going to get some great information from Flimp today. Like I said, we work with them on a really regular basis. So feel free to reach out to us or to them for anything you need regarding this webinar afterwards. You see my contact information here. If you need to reach out to me, and you also see our website on here if you want to check us out on the website. With that said, Kayla, can you go to the next screen? Okay, so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Robert and to Kayla and Joanna from Flimp. And Robert, I think you're going to get started, so take it away, my friend.
Awesome. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. Thanks, Mike and the VB Shop, for having us on. It's an honor to be able to present. In the opening piece here, and we'll go through who we are, what we really specialize in, and then Kayla will get into some of the tactical items of which not only we've leveraged with the Voluntary Benefit Shop, but also with clients just like yourself. And we'll start off really quick. We both come from the benefit space. Kayla and I have both served as a broker and worked in carriers, enrollment firms, been admin. So we understand the ecosystem of which you work within, your clients, what your demands for them are. And celebrated 28 years in the insurance space. So certainly we can relate to what your needs are. Flimp is a communications company as a whole. And we've been over a decade now, been in the insurance space specifically, working with broker firms, direct clients as well. We have multiple locations across the country, ranging from Boston down to Florida, Denver. We have some in Vermont. So we're a nationwide firm. Kayla, we'll go to the next screen. A couple key things I'll touch on, and we'll talk about kind of what we try to focus on. Obviously, the benefit landscape has drastically changed over the last few years, but specifically the last year or two. And a couple of the key things as takeaways that we hope to gain with you on this call is really looking at some of the key things on the screen here. It's finding ways to save money, not just on print materials, but also getting those in-person meetings have been finding very difficult. So we really have a very strong outreach and footprint in the digital world to get to that consumer where they live and what they're doing at this moment. We try to free up resources not only for the HR, but also you. Oftentimes, more education, more empowerment on the employee level, the less questions and follow-ups generally happen. So we really infuse that with a lot of phenomenal content and ways that we engage, and we'll highlight some of those here in a second. The third thing is really the main piece that we really try to focus on is improved benefits literacy, employee satisfaction, but my favorite topic is behavior change and modification. Oftentimes you go through countless hours trying to determine what the right portfolio mix is, only for the implementation, rollout, enrollment of those products to only find that employees don't migrate potentially to plans that you've designed for them or the HR needs them to participate in. And that's often linked back to the employee's lack of education, literacy, and really satisfaction of what they have and what they can use when they can use it. And so we tend to drive several key variables with this content and the way we deliver the content. We always focus on a couple dimensions: increasing participation. That's one key variable that we look at, is driving that to the products you want them to select in. We also then maximize each time that we're with that employee by showing and highlighting how to increase the annual premium, or whatever product that they weren't using. And the third one is units sold that becomes stickier for you in your business model. A couple of the things we do: save time on demand, mobile-friendly content, reaching employees where they're at, the large insurgence of gig workers, remote workers, transportation. Those types of employees are often very difficult to get in front of. They may not even have email addresses in some time. So we've got some creative ways that we work within getting our content to them. And then help employees choose the best medical plans and save money through our decision support tools. Oftentimes, the window of time for an employee to enroll has become more narrow. Years ago, when I started in the business, generally that 45 minutes or an hour, most employees devoted time to enroll. Recent studies show that 18 minutes is the average time the employee really pays attention and enrolls, and they lose enrollment fatigue. So having really high sophisticated decision support tools that are accomplished in less than a few minutes drives to better improved benefits literacy, satisfaction, of course, going back to that behavior change. Those are a couple of key things we try to focus on. And then what do we do? How do we do it? So the next slide will show a couple of the key pieces that really highlight to some of the buckets that we have. So we'll move to the next slide. So we bucket in a few pieces. We strive ourselves on phenomenal video content. When I say phenomenal video content, we are known as more as the scientists behind the curtain. It's not often what you say, it's how you say it. It's not only what is presented, but what's the audience want to see. So we have a very scientific approach to gain high levels of receptivity. Everything that we publish, we measure engagement not on who starts it, but more importantly, who finishes it. Every company can boast that, oh yeah, we have high engagement rates, but if they click on it and then immediately close it, then is it really engaging? Is it really effective in accomplishing what you want? So we put a lot of science behind our video content. We then have different ways that we send that communication out. So we're a content creator. We're also a distributor of that content through our communications. And then, as I mentioned, decision support. The last one that we'll highlight here is our text messaging, which is HiTrust HIPAA compliant, and it's very, very effective in putting guardrails on any security measures that you may have. We'll talk a little bit more about that. We house all this into a whole robust content communications platform that either we give you the keys to then drive and show how to scale this for your operation, or you can solicit us with the help and support of our team to be able to build that content out for you. So now we'll pivot into some of the exacts of what those products look like, and more importantly, how to position those. So I'm going to turn this over to Kayla, and she'll go through those items as well.
Thanks, Robert, for the introduction. I appreciate that. And like Robert mentioned, we both come to you all with a great deal of experience in the field, from the enrollment level all the way up to broker level. We've collectively have quite a bit of experience. So as I'm going through these products, I'm really here to connect the day-to-day utilization and the application. I'm going to touch on how myself and others have actually utilized these tools to ensure maximum results and really achieve and surpass our employee engagement and education goals. First, we're going to discuss our explainer videos. Our explainer videos are a proven way to educate and inform employees about their benefits, enrollments, wellness programs, onboarding, and HR initiatives.
We have a couple different chassis that we work on. We've got a basic library of videos. We have anywhere from 75 plus in English and Spanish. These videos are designed to be very short snippets that give explanatory about key items such as health and wellness, financial wellness, overall HR topics. And these are all updated by us and our team automatically every year. If there's any rule changes, increased participation levels such as an HSA, FSA, any financial instruments, we then in turn update that for you with our team of experts that research what's going on in the industry. Our second one in the middle here is, well, now we get a little bit more broader and get more detailed for our clients' needs. So these enhanced videos basically bring light to something very specific, announcing open enrollment, branding the company's images, logos, branding all the key tactics that you want to describe to the upcoming experience that the employee is going to have. Oftentimes it's linked to open enrollment. Other times it could be for new hire. And other times it could be for a specific initiative that you want to push. As an example, is there an EAP program that has a mental health additive to it that no one's taken advantage of? Oftentimes a 2 to 3 minute video will be enhanced explaining that particular product or silo that you want to push. The third category is our premium. This is for really, really sophisticated individuals or companies that want to really dive into something that's involved to a point where we can do drone coverage footage, we can do live on-site shoots. This is the scope of work that we do, anywhere from templated to modified, which is the enhanced, and then also premium, so fully customized. We'll move to the next slide. And there we go. And so some other options that we have now when we look at our graphic services, we can either, one, take any content that you created, and that may be as simple as a PowerPoint, and we can just simply straight convert that to where we have a professional voiceover. We have over 40 on retainer, and those 40 actresses are from different dialects, different languages, different geographies. As an example, do you need a Northeast accent, a Southwest accent? Again, it's not sometimes what you say, it's how you say it that is receptive to your client. And we'll convert that. We'll then host and chapter those presentations, and we can even put music behind it, et cetera, to kind of really theme that up. Our most common one is our branded design. And that's where we really start working with you in detail on, are you going to be creating something preset for us that we can help edit, build in scripts? We have professional script writers that are on staff. And in those scenarios, we scope the project with you. We take what you already have as the chassis. And then from there, we then update that with your input, and we brand all the images, logos. We've used company images, employee images, etc. The third one is custom creative, full creative design. This is where I need help with any type of messaging. I need you to do all the work. I don't have time, or my client's very sophisticated, or I may not know what to say. And that's when we bring all of those script writers in and we start working with all the details. These chapter presentation type of formats can be replicated with our graphic, our creative options throughout all of our entire library series as well. We'll move to the next slide. And then now, once we create the content, now how do we distribute that content? And we have different modes of media that distribute the content. At the beginning, Mike had mentioned Digital Postcards. This is one of our flagship products. This replicates the old, for those that have been around as long as some of us may have been, the postcard, the mail postcard that would go out that would indicate open enrollment. We got a little bit more sophisticated 10, 15 years ago and sent out an email to everybody. Well, we never knew if someone took action on any of these items. So all we knew is, did someone open the email perhaps, or we hope that they show up for the enrollment. This replicates that process. We have different types of ways that we create these cards. These are designed for an initiative push. As an example, we have, as we mentioned, open enrollment, new hire, but also you can see here, these are some ways that we've themed it out for different companies and different clients that have wanted a specific purpose. There are 3 key objectives that we put on these digital postcards. Number 1, video content, which you saw some examples in the previous slide, which then we can add to any of that and or use any topics or video that you have or a carrier has perhaps. But the first one is video content. The second one is messaging. What textual items do you want to have them read and take action on? And then the third one, which is I believe the most important one, is the actionable item links. Where do you want them to go after they've now learned what they're now about to undertake? Those links could be scheduler. It could be directing to the Ben admin. It could be directed to a benefits book. It could be directed to a PDF. It could be directed to any item. The best part about these cards is we track meticulously every time someone goes into the card, what they click on, how long they've stayed on it, their location, their device, any diagnostics that give you data to then support what you need to do possibly to pivot in any of your strategies with the population that you're sending them out to. The next slide, we'll talk about a couple different ones that we've specifically done that can really showcase and highlight the breadth of what we can do. As you saw, the previous screen had some images that were either designed by the client or some things that they've had us design. This particular one is one that we've done for the voluntary benefit shop. Obviously, there's 3 of them up here, but the first one is a shared client, NPR. They wanted to do a theme with cartoon superheroes. We're here to save the day. When we send this slide deck out, these links are actionable, so I would encourage everyone to click on the window that's got the open enrollment video that's linked on the left-hand side. And from there, actually, yep, we'll go and play it now. This will be a great visual to show the breadth of what we can do. We either give you the creative ability if you have the design work, or you can solicit our support and our help to create something such as this. This is how companies scope work with us and how they want to better engage their population. In this example, it was themed out that employees, don't worry, we got you. We're going to help cover all your needs during the open enrollment season. So we'll click out of here. And again, feel free to always access these links when we send out the PowerPoint afterwards. All right, we'll move to the next slide. All right, and then the second piece now is a little longer form. This particular form now is replicating the digital postcard, which is again designed to be a short burst and a very short amount of information on there. And now this becomes more of a year-round piece. This is now after open enrollment or when a certain product that you want them to access on a periodic basis. This now becomes, we can house more video content. We can add state-specific documents. We can add SBCs. You can add rates. Doesn't matter. You're pretty much limitless. You can add video content from our video library. You can add videos that you've had already pre-made or by carriers as an example. But this is designed to go up year-round, and this is mobile friendly. So it converts to any of the devices that anybody would have in their hand. These are just 2 examples, but we would do all the custom work for you to show how we would create these and brand this to your logo, their logo, however you want it done. This is basically canvas space. If you think about it, you become the director of what you want us to paint on here, and we create this any way you want to with any configuration that you want to. We'll move to the next slide. Now, this is a little longer form now than the previous one. So imagine that we now have multiple benefits. Let's say we have 8 tabs of 8 different benefits: medical, dental, vision, voluntary, life, etc. Then we would, in essence, take a employee resource center, which is the one page, and then add up to 7 more to now combine this into a virtual benefit showcase. And this is often used by HR directors that now encompass all of the employee benefits that they have. Each one then will have representation of the product line that you want. And the good part about how we can help facilitate, oftentimes a partner of ours, broker, may not have a custom video, or they may not able to get their hands on carrier videos as an example. This is where oftentimes our video libraries replaced. What is cancer insurance? What is the difference between term and whole life? Those are places where oftentimes our video content is added on our virtual benefit showcases. So remember, this is the longer form. The Employee Resource Center is for one product, and the digital postcard is for one initiative. We'll move forward a little faster here on the slide. Coming to decision support, where I talked about helping with units sold. Basically, the world of employee making their own decision now, or empowerment, is now upon us. There's a lot of decision support companies out there. Where ours differs is we use a percentile of use model, not a calculated model. Reason why I say that is because we take a lot of key elements that drive to 3 simple questions that we ask the consumer, and our algorithms link up what we believe their actual best value score would be for the plan that they can choose. We give them their lowest cost option, and we get them the best cost option. Our tool is designed to be completed in about 3.5 minutes. And we find that we have about 70% that actually finish our tool compared to our competitors that have somewhere between 10 and 20% that finish the tool. We are also known as the most budget-friendly conscious team with our Plan Select, which is our medical. And this is one of our competitors, Alex, that typically is brought up in conversation. And you can see some of the price differences that we have. We automatically build this in English and Spanish. And a couple key things that are important on here is that we drive down to the geography, the zip code of the end user, using their specific regional data, as opposed to the national directories of the medical plans that some of our competitors like Alex do. This is important if you're in DC or New York compared to Mississippi. Those rates will obviously change drastically. That's why we break it down to the local zip code. We also have a voluntary only piece, which we'll talk about in a follow-up session with us, but in the sake of time, our plan select is our most common. That's on the medical side. All right, we'll move to the next slide. Text messaging, I mentioned to you earlier about this HiTrust compliant. There's a couple things that I'll really pinpoint here. The world of text messaging is very popular. A lot of companies use it. There's a lot of companies out there, such as your Twilios, MailChimps, Constant Contacts. Those are non-aggregated type of platforms. They're not HiTrust compliant. Ours is HiTrust compliant, which is extremely important. And one may think, well, Robert, I'm not sending any PII or PHI information across a text message. Why would I worry about something that's HIPAA compliant or regulated? If a text message has been intercepted, and now the crook, so to speak, is in that phone, most people have linked to their banking information, health information on some sort of app or something that's hidden in their device. That's where some of the guardrails really open one up. That's why our HiTrust compliant is so important. The last one here is the multi-tenant. We easily set you up on a platform that can add multiple tenants in the event you have multiple producers that want to have their own account, or you have multiple groups that want to have their own accounts. All that can roll up into our multi-tenant platform. Very, very simple to use. All right, we'll move on to the next slide here. One of our last pieces here is employee benefits books, benefits guides. The popularity of these guides have really surged here lately. Oftentimes, those are still printing. It's surprising the amount of calls I still get, even this week, on we're tired of printing, nobody reads them. Do we know that they read them? As an example, all of our content is digitized, and we can even convert those to a flipbook style format for you. We have all the analytics and tracking. We have search capabilities within the book, and we can convert those in a few different ways. We either do a straight conversion. We give you the template to fill in the data. We then can also do us doing the work and uploading the data, or we can do something full-blown custom that has a lot more of the key elements of what their company branding wants. So we have a large scale of which we can go to market with our employee benefits guides. We can also give convertible items. If you needed to still print, we can give you the scale to be able to take to a printer that's converted to the size of the content you want. As an example, a mailer, if you still have to use those, or any trade show pieces or live employee benefit fair items that you want printed, we can convert that. And the value of using these benefit guides with us is we keep a consistent communication theme with all the branding, all the moving images, all the different key things that tie together the complete enrollment strategy. Move to the next slide. And in final, we want to say appreciate with the last few minutes that we have here. Again, Robert Ferrone, VP of Sales with Flimp Technologies, Flimp Communications. Been in the business for 28 years, so strategizing and finding ways to maximize your P&L is what I love to do. As we mentioned, Kayla also is from the business. We're going to do a follow-up. Here's our direct contact information on the screen. Any questions or comments, we'll love to field those if we have enough time, but certainly anything follow-up we'll be able to help out with as well. With that, we have a few minutes. We'll turn it back to you, Mike, and thanks to the VB Shop, and thanks for everyone for attending.
Hey, thanks, Robert. Thanks so much, and thanks, Kayla. Great information, guys. I do want to say this. You saw some of the digital postcards that they've used with us with the VB Shop. I will give you the story at NPR. You saw the superhero theme one for the voluntary benefits. The only thing we did, they've been our client for 6 or 7 years. The only thing we did different this year was utilize that digital postcard. And number one, the satisfaction level from the client went up. But number two, the participation in the voluntary benefits went way up, like up 40% this year. And the only thing we did different was use that digital postcard. It just is great in terms of helping to engage people. So thanks to the Flimp team for their work on that digital postcard and for their time on this webinar today. If you could go to the next slide, I just have a few closing things and then we'll check for questions. We can go forward. So guys, I just wanted to promote a couple of upcoming webinars that we have coming up. March 31st, we have Genomic Life Cancer Guardian. That is a genomic testing product with great resources. If you're not familiar with that product, check it out. It's great for self-insured clients. So definitely check that out. April 14th, we have the team from TrueSight Health on to talk to us about the new AFLAC group hospital indemnity plan, which provides coverage for both mental health and substance abuse care. It is the first of its kind in the industry of hospital indemnity plans that cover mental health and substance abuse care. So very popular out there in the marketplace right now. And then lastly, on April 28th, we have the team from Allstate on to talk about their Life with Long-Term Care program, but specifically about how we have utilized that in the states that are going to be implementing the long-term care payroll tax. If you're not familiar with that, don't miss that webinar. It'll be very educational for you. Last year, Washington State put in a long-term care tax on employees. It's been actually delayed until 2013 at this point in time, but the utilization of those life hybrid products allows people to become exempt from the tax. And so it's a really key conversation that your clients that have employees in the states that will be implementing this long-term care tax will be coming to you to ask for guidance. There's about 15 other states that are going to be putting this tax in over the next couple of years. California is one of the next ones to do it. So a lot of us have clients with employees in California, so you're going to want to be aware of that. So anyway, those are the next 3 webinars coming up. With that said, Chelsea, are there any questions in chat?
There is not, no.
Okay. Guys, thanks again so much. You know that we're here. The Voluntary Benefits Shop here is here if you have any questions on anything voluntary benefits. You know, the Flimp team is here if you need help with employee engagement and communications. We will have a recorded version of this that'll come back out to you as well if you want to go back and reference anything. And I want to thank you for joining today's webinar. And I want to thank Robert, Kayla, and Joanna from Flimp for jumping on and sharing with us today. Thanks so much.